Okay, hopefully everything's working. Mike Tufts, you're the first one. Let me know if the microphone's working, okay? Thanks. Keith, Keefers, Frodo Joe is here. Marty's here. Buckskin NYB. Hey. All righty. Cool. It's a good start. Yeah, you beat Alan today. John Turner. Sounds good. Hello, everybody. Good. I'm glad it sounds good. I've been busy doing other things other than Flintknapping. Yeah, I cleaned out my basement yesterday. Boy, that was fun. I have I have sensitivity to mold, of course, but it luckily it didn't hit me. It just made me a little bit itchy. Graylin is here. Hello from Southwest Louisiana. I'm going to change the sign. I'm going to put something else. Let's see. Yeah, I cleaned out my basement. I know where I'm going to store my rocks now. I just got a bunch of rocks from the last nap-in, and they're all kind of stacked in my napping area in my shop, so it's taking up space that I don't like being taken up. So now that I got the basement cleaned out, I mean, I cleaned it all out and I gave away some stuff to my stepsister. And I'm going to take some stuff to the trash. Some stuff I forgot was in there that I was supposed to take to the trash earlier. Mac Bales is here. All right, so I changed the sign. So he says, got to make doo-doo with what you got. Yep, the old saying is you got to make do with what you got. Yeah, well, usually when I do that with what I got, it ends up being doo-doo. And not not something that's 100%. So you got to make doo-doo what you got. If you don't got a lot, that's what happens. All right, so the first hour is chat. The second hour is napping. It's a 2-hour live stream. If you're new and you want to see napping, come back in an hour. Don't come back in 2 hours and say, hey, everybody, I'm here finally, because it'll be over. A lot of guys wait until it's over to say hello. It seems. Ken is here. So most of these, if you're new, I'm talking to new guys, most of the people you see in the chat have been longtime viewers, longtime commenters on the channel, my friends. So this is going to have some inside jokes and inside kind of conversations. You'll see that these guys are going to be talking to each other in the chat. If you're new, take advantage of the fact that you can ask questions in live time and get answers in live time. Someone will probably have the answer if you ask a question. Okay? All right. 40% of my viewers on the live streams, 40% of the viewers on the live streams are new people. That surprised me. Almost half. And I think what they do is they just show up for a few seconds and they go, oh man, it's not sports, it's not entertainment, like it's not a comedy show. It can be, but it's not something I like, so switch. I think that's most of the new people. They're looking for something that's not chit chat and not Flintnapping necessarily. They want to see a performance of some sort. Ken says this is the best napping community in the world on the World Wide Web. Lots to learn and laugh about here. I'm glad you think so. I'm not going to argue with that. Jordan says, hey, Patrick, been wild. Yes. It's already Christmas? No, I just like to turn on the Christmas tree when I have the live stream because it's in my office. Basically, this is my office. There's only 3 rooms or 4 rooms in this little house. And this office used to be the living room. The kitchen is attached. It's just open to the kitchen, like a hotel room, basically. There's a little sleeping area back here and the bathroom on the other side. Bathroom over there, sleeping area back here, kitchen, and then this, whatever you call it now, is my office. I'm napping inside my house because people want to see napping, and at least I can clean up easy right here. But I will not nap glass in the house. It's got to be maybe dacite or something like that, and not full-blown glass or full-blown obsidian. He heats his house with a candle. Yeah, I can probably heat it with a little burner, propane burner. I do have a propane burner as a reserve heat source, just in case, because the winters get pretty nasty, and if I lose power, it don't take long to freeze up like a deep freezer. Ross Wellman is here. Hi, Patrick, and all your napping friends. Red-Eyed Patriot is here. Remember to smash the like button. Yeah, only 8 of you have operational index fingers. I know some, like if you're like me, I can only type with 2 fingers, 1 preferably. If I try to type with more than 1 finger, I have dyslexia. I have typing dyslexia, so I'll type in the wrong order. Maybe that's the problem. Some people say, I can't type right, so I'm just going to give up. If I don't hit the like button, it's too bad. I bet you there's some people like that. And I've been wearing my sunglasses because the light is already bugging my eyes. Now, I'm trying to figure out if it's because I've been eating some vegetables lately. I developed these sensitivities and these itches. I've been eating squash and summer squash, cucumbers, and some other kind of zucchinis to see if that agrees with me. But I'm feeling itchy. I'm getting, sensitivity to light more than normal. And I'm feeling fatigued during most of the day. So I can't tell if it's age or something that I'm eating. I know that a high carbohydrate diet really messes with me and causes me to feel like I don't want to do anything all day except eat. We've been eating lots of tomatoes. Yeah, I can't eat tomatoes anymore. I found out that affects me worse than the squash and the zucchinis. But I am going to make pumpkin soup with my pumpkin. I was going to cut it up today, but I think I'll cut it up tomorrow and see how that goes. I think I had to stop eating the seeds. I've just been eating everything, the skin and the seeds. So I'm going to skin the zucchinis and take the seeds out. I actually made some deli-style pickles with the zucchinis. My neighbor gives me zucchini, summer squash, and cucumbers for free, so I can't pass it up. And then I'm growing pumpkins now. I've got 4 pumpkins. The first one is already ripe. The second one is starting to become ripe. And the 2 other ones are in the middle stage. Ken says, I grew a whopping 6 or 7 tomatoes this year. 2 little plants. I have 1 pumpkin, says Bushy or Frodo Joe. Mike Mason's here. I can write with my left hand, but you need to turn it upside down and read it in a mirror. Who has 2 thumbs and can't spell? Me, says Michael. How do I know? I don't know. Ken says, I love squash. One of the 3 sister crops, squash, beans, and maize. Yeah, I used to be Mr. Beans and Corn. Yeah. Mexican food. We didn't have much squash as part of our Mexican food diet. Let's see. Yeah, Patrick is living in a nap shack. Definitely, says Keith. Ken says, have the skunks been around, Patrick? Yeah, they're on the front porch right now. Well, one of them is. And Louise was just here just before I went live. I gave Louise her little bowl of food. She was sitting outside. And then before I sat down, I heard the bowl tumble. Uh-oh, it means the skunk is getting into the bowl. So sure enough, I opened it up, and I think it's one of Jumpy's little babies. So I threw out a granola treat and closed the door. So that's what but there's 4 skunks in the yard right now. Yeah, I throw out cat food. So they come and eat that. It takes them about 20 minutes. Then they leave. But in the meantime, they're all like, where? Oh, yeah, and I put sunflower seeds in the yard because as I was cleaning out the basement yesterday, I found a whole gigantic bag of sunflower seeds that my stepmom put down there because she would always put out sunflower seeds every winter. And I didn't realize that she had the whole, like it's a 40-pound bag of sunflower seeds. Let's see. Jeremy says, roast your pumpkin soup in the pumpkin. Use pumpkin as the pot. Oh, yeah. I've seen that. But you got to have a small pumpkin. My pumpkin is big. Let's see. I'll show you. And the next one coming, the one that's starting to ripen, is bigger than this one. Okay. This one, I can't roast the whole thing. It doesn't fit in the oven shelf. Yeah, it's too big. So what I'm going to cut it up into pieces. Yeah. And let's see, the one that's I think if one comes out just before Halloween, I'll carve it and make a jack-o'-lantern. But the other ones I'm going to try to eat them, and hopefully they won't make me sick. Yeah. I didn't realize I had food allergies until I started not eating vegetables. I realize how much better I feel when I don't eat vegetables and fruits for that matter. But fruits mess with my blood sugar. Vegetables, not so much, but vegetables make me itchy and fatigued. Most of them. Tomatoes, definitely. And most of the starchy stuff like potatoes and garlic makes me feel sick. And all kinds of root vegetables make me feel sick. Anyway, every year I say I'm going to build a garden bed, says Ken. Next year is my year. Yeah. I got lucky because there's one already existing. I'm going to tear it out, though, and put a second shed right where that is. You got about 500 more Roma tomatoes to get ripe? Frodo Joe? Bushy? Martin Hill says, my spell check is more dyslexic than me. Yeah. They say that AI is intelligent, but it still can't get the spell check right. Although it does know what you're trying to ask. You can type in some weird stuff, make typos on purpose, and it still knows what you're trying to say. So if AI still understands what you're trying to ask, why can't it correct your mistakes properly? It's because they're not talking to each other. The spell check is not talking to AI. That's what it is. It's a ripoff. Everything else is talking to each other. You type in something I'm looking for. Where do I get my car tuned up? And then, okay, you find it, and then you do other stuff around the house. And then when you go back to look on the internet and start scrolling, you find tune-up places in your feed. Tune your car up, or oil change, or it knows what you're looking for, but it doesn't know to ask AI what you're trying to spell. What does that tell you? It has the capacity to be good, but it doesn't do it. It rather sell something to you than make your life better. Let's see. Red-Eyed Patriot finally got the extra cash to send you a knife, Patrick. You'll smile when you see it. Awesome. Thank you in advance. Ross says, how much does a pirate pay for corn? A buccaneer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you guys are new, you might hear some dad jokes. Of course, most of the people that tune in are 50 years old and older, so you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain. Let's see. Jesse says, Sal sent me some nice Edwards Plateau to try. I've got some napping to do this weekend. Yes. If you got some Edwards Plateau shirt. Alan Cole is here. What in the wide world of Flintknapping is going on here? Yeah. I don't know. We're just making doo-doo with what we got. Tim Williams, the spell check is crazy because you are training the LLM with your interactions. Yeah. Blue blocking lenses, Patrick? No, these are just regular polarized sunglasses. Yeah. They actually work pretty good to reduce the irritation in my eyes because these lights are in my eyes. I don't have to have them on, but then it looks funny. Yeah. I don't like the way that looks. Yep. It looks too cold without the lights, without the added lights. But they burn my eyes. So I'm wearing sunglasses. I'll take them off when I do the Flintknapping. Graylin Landry says that was corny. Yeah. You make fun of my Christmas tree. I've got an ornament from Mike Tufts. I stuck it on the other side. I don't know why. I need to stick it up on this side. See, Mike Tufts made me an ornament. Yes? Can you see? No. I put it behind. What am I doing? Put it in front. Yeah. So I do have an ornament. Now it's a Christmas tree. What is the ornament? It's like a seashell, like a sea urchin, but it's got turnings. These are made of wood, and it's like a sea urchin shell, a real one. I need to get those hooks. I stored them away. I don't know where they went. I looked for the hooks in the basement, but they weren't there. So I must have stuck them somewhere else. I need to properly hook that on there. Maybe I'll hang a bunch of other stuff like arrowheads and whatnot. I got an arrowhead from a friend of mine, Don. I traded him. I can do this for an ornament. In fact, that's what I'll do. When I sign off tonight, I think I'll make an ornament out of this. Now, I did not make this. My friend Don Tower made this. I think it's Georgia Chert. Heat treat. Coastal Plains, Yellow Chert, Flint River, Swirl, whatever you want to call it. Just hold it still, man, so we can see. I'm trying to make sure you can see all the notching, but you can't. The lighting is bad. Okay, how about there? How about that? Put up right there. How about that? No. Yeah, there you go. See that? Notches on the bottom. I'm going to make an ornament out of that. I was going to make a necklace, but you know what? I might ruin it if I make a necklace out of it because I'm such a spaz. I'll bump the necklace against something while I'm working. Red-Eyed Patriot says all nappers send arrowhead ornaments for the tree. Yeah, if you want me to hang something on the tree, that's not a bad idea. Just make sure it's small so we can put a bunch on there. Yeah. If you want to send me something to hang on the tree, that'd be cool. But make sure it's like small, like 2 inches or no bigger than what Mike made me here. So we can stick them all on there where we can see them. Mike Tuff says that would make a cool ornament to try to make it to where the light bulb is behind it on the tree. Yeah. Oh, the arrowhead, you mean? Yeah, because the arrowhead is translucent, right? So if I put the light bulb behind it, it's got to be kind of a bright light bulb, though. I can, make a box with a little light in it and then mount this to the box. Like this kind of box with lights inside, but instead of the sign as the front, the arrowhead will be in the front. It'll be like a triangular box, in the shape of the arrowhead with a little box behind it, and the arrowhead's the front glass, so to speak, with a light inside. And that can be battery powered. I can hang it there like this, or it doesn't matter, upside down. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. That's a good idea. Little light boxes for the little arrowheads. I want to know who's going to make the angel for the top. Yeah, but you can't see the top. Besides, I always put a star on the top, not an angel. Our tradition, at least in my family. Well, actually, no, we had an angel one year. Oh well, but most of the time we put a star up there. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I could make the angel for the top, but yeah. Hey, Sal's in the house. He's here. Why do you put a clown face as an emoji? I called Sal a subscriber when during the channel news. I don't uh, I don't claim to be very tactful. I was kind of talking to new people. I was saying like you should know who Sal is, but he's a subscriber and blah blah. And then Sal says, "Wait a second, I thought you were my friend. I thought you were my friend." Don't worry, we are friends. Sal is a good friend of mine. Yeah, and we've napped together. I'm gonna go see everybody in Brady, including Sal, this October. If you're gonna be there, Sal, hopefully you'll be there, and it's gonna be good. All my buddies in Texas are gonna be there. Is the connection bad? Hopefully it's not bad. I don't see any problems with the connection. Sounds cool. No. Roy Browski's here. Alan Cole says, I just got home from the Pacific Coast. I rode in on Polaris RZR on quad trails in the tree line of the sand dunes. It was pretty epic. What in the wide, wide world of Polaris something or other is that? Um, Mine is awful too. The connection for some of you guys is pretty bad. I see everything here is clear. Yeah. Everything seems to be running just right from my end. Let me see. I can try to see if I can see myself on YouTube. Yeah, yeah. So Sal will be at the Knapping, and I've been already invited to go hunting. So I will be trying to hunt. I have a feeling I'm going to use a crossbow again because I don't have practice with bow and arrow. I'll have to practice for 5 weeks tops. That's not enough time. Tim Williams says it looks smooth to me. Okay. Brennan says mine is running smooth on my phone and TV, but I have a real good internet. Alrighty. Alan Cole says, Patrick, Polaris RZR equals high performance off road side by side. I don't know what a side by side is. Roy says, I believe it was Hornstone as you recommended for beginners. Wait a second. What did I miss? I bought some stone from Aaron Large. He told me Patrick is a really good dude, and I agree. What does this mean? Okay, so you got Hornstone. Good, good. Jesse says, Alan, you made me spit out my drink today at my desk over the corn joke. Ken says, hunting? I'm jealous. I still need to get my license. Yeah, I'm going to be hunting, but if I get anything or not, I'm still going to get loaded up with a lot of deer meat and some backstrap sinew. Yeah. I'm very lucky. Yeah, so I'm going to make some arrows, like 3 arrows, and practice with my bow. I have an Osage bow I'm going to bring to Texas. I'll practice up and hit the target a bunch of times, and then we'll see. I still have trouble judging distance from inside of a blind. I found out inside of a deer blind. So I got to construct like a little window or a little blind for myself back in the backyard and shoot the arrows through the blind so I can get used to it because I get that it messes with my depth perception when I'm shooting through a little window. With a crossbow, it doesn't matter because it's just like a firearm. He's pointing, point in and pull the trigger. Make sure you're steady. You don't have to understand the depth. Jesse says, "What did you guys think of my glitzy boppers I posted on the community?" Yeah, what did you guys think? Danny Moore is here. Let's see, a side by side is basically a dune buggy, a big dune buggy. But why do you call it a side by side instead of a dune buggy? Something's got to be side by side. What is it? You can just Google it, dude. Just type it in, okay? I know you're old. Just type in side by side road vehicle, I guess. All right, so I can try that. But I wanted to look to see if my connection was good. But you distracted me now. Mm-hmm. I don't see my own self. Where am I? Someone responded to something I said on Instagram. Or was it a YouTube video? See, I can't tell the difference now between Instagram shorts and YouTube shorts. I made a wisecrack on an Instagram post, and then someone responded. It's getting me mixed up. I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, someone's trolling me? You guys, one of you guys was trolling me, but no, it was not one of you guys. Let's see. Ken says, I buy whole deer from a hunter friend. I should see if they can get me one this year too. Definitely. But just, I get scraps. And I tell people, my favorite parts of the deer are the neck and the ribs. You can have the rest. But I want the neck and the ribs. And don't use this huge, gigantic elk rifle or elephant rifle to shoot the deer. For crying out loud, it doesn't need that much. You blow out the ribs, and you're wasting a bunch of that really, really good meat. My friend Roberto, he shot one of his deer with this. I think it was a 270 or something even bigger. Blew out the entire one side of it. Of course, it drops right away. You blow out the entire, what do they call it? I don't know. The heart and lungs get totally shattered and turns into hamburger meat, basically. It drops the deer very quick, but then, the best parts are all nasty. So, yeah, I usually can get scraps. I usually get neck meat pretty easily, so you can ask people because they throw that stuff away. Let's see. Roy says, has anyone used PayPal invoices before for buying stone? It's a first for me, and I have to take his word for it, I suppose. You can use PayPal invoices. I used them for years, but they stopped working for me. I think I had to revise my account or something in some way or mess with the settings because I can no longer invoice through PayPal. I can send a request, but for some reason, I cannot do the invoices like I used to. And it's probably one of my settings, or I need to revise something in my PayPal account. Maybe it's my bank account. I got to revise the bank account numbers or some stupid stuff. I haven't been able to figure that out, so I just send a request. So yeah, and besides, if you use invoicing in PayPal, it costs you like $1.50 or something, at least. Or maybe it's 1.5%. I forget. Mm-hmm. Okay, seats in the side-by-side dune buggy vehicle That's what that means? I thought all dune buggies had 2 seats. They don't?
Yeah, it's a 2-seater, but they call it a side by side because it's got 2 seats. It makes sense, dude. If you drive one.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Mike Mason says, I'll BRB. What? This signal is awful. Just going to try to restart the phone. Okay. Mike Tuff says, I've never had any problems with my PayPal, Roy. Yeah. I haven't had problems except for that. I can no longer invoice. Side by Side was the name of a nursing home in my old town. No, let me see. What can I figure that one out? Why would you call a nursing home Side by Side? That's funny. Jesse says Alan is going back to paradise, Glass Buttes. That reminds me. I just saw a video, and I must have watched it about 10 times, where a kid was riding down a trail. It was gravel. Granted, it was a wide trail with gravel. He's riding down very fast with an ATV down this trail with gravel. And I think this is what helped. And he did a skid around the corner instead of driving around the corner like a normal person. He twisted the whole thing and skidded around the corner. There's a special name for that type of skid, and I can't remember the name of it. But I'm saying, damn, the skid like that on a trail that's not level, and to make it and then continue. Of course, they had to set up because someone's filming it. I would not do that because the trees, he just missed the trees by like inches. So in my mind, if I thought of a side by side, I'd think of maybe an AT or like a motorcycle with a sidecar. You can call that a side by side. That would make sense. Yeah, an ATV or a motorcycle with a sidecar attached. That's what I think. No one cares what you think because you're stupid, dude. All right, I know. Danny Moore says he loves the neck. Yes, the neck meat on a deer is some of the best meat, I think. Roy says, okay, Mike Tufts, I see I am excited to see if he will mail it out Monday. All righty. Sal says, Mike T package being sent tomorrow, buddy. Okay. I got a package from Danny Collins. Yeah. I got a package. I haven't discussed what I'm going to nap. You guys didn't ask, so I didn't tell, but I got a package from Danny Collins. It's from Flintknapping Traditions, okay? What is it? I don't know. It feels like rocks because it's heavy. Imagine that. He sent me some rocks. And he did tell me what it was in the email, but I forget. I'm too excited. I forget. When I'm excited, my brain no worky. And no worky worse than normal. Yeah. All right. Hey, we got some excellent cardboard. Oh, yes, it is. I remember now. He sent me Georgetown. Whew, this is going to be good. I'm going to nap some of this on video today. Yes. Can I make a Kerrville knife out of one of these? No. This one looks almost Kerrville-ish. I'll nap this one. Or I'll nap the smallest one in here. I'm not napping anything big anymore on video because I've broken so many. Maybe not on video, but just trying to be smart and try to get lots of views with big points. I've snapped some that I didn't want to snap, and I've reduced the length too much on stuff I didn't want to reduce length on. So I'm not going to nap any big stuff on video anymore. What am I going to nap out of this box? They're all too big. Yeah, we'll just go with that. It's already a little bit thin. An easy peasy one. Yeah. Or do you want me to not? You want me to nap the chunker? I can nap the chunker. Yes? All right. Let's see if they actually did say yes. I'm just guessing. Johnny Warning is here. Hello, hello. Sal says, my boss's head was scalped on side by side, got like 30 stitches across the forehead. I have pictures. Dang. Sounds excellent, dude. It looks like your boss must have had an extreme experience. Yeah. Drew's Concrete is here. Hello, hello. Drifting. Get around the corner and the throttle is called drifting. Yeah, he did that drift. Someone called it something in the chat. I mean, in the comments of that video. I don't know if it was drift. It might have been drift. Yeah. He drifted for like, 50 yards or something. It was insane. Down a trail in the woods. Okay. Maybe a side by side is one of those 3-wheel dune buggies. I don't think so. Not by what they're telling me. Mike Mason says, oh my God, screw the signal. I'm buying a ticket to Vermont. Yeah, just make sure you move to a town that has good internet because I got lucky with this internet. They installed a new service and now I can do live streams. Whereas when I first arrived in here, or I first started visiting my father, the internet was absolutely horrible. Bushy says a 30-06 in the front shoulder blows out the other shoulder. Yeah, I don't like it when I receive the scraps from a deer that's got the shoulder blown out. Yeah, it wastes a lot of meat. Hey, $10 super chat. Who is it? Patrick Trousdale, $10 super chat. Thank you. Extra walk around video and nap-in funds next time. Would like to see a longer walk around. Okay, I'll do a longer walk around in Texas on the nap-in. Yeah, I'll do longer walk-arounds. Yeah, next time. I just wanted to get that out real quick, and I didn't know if it was going to upload very fast, and I wasn't going to sit there and wait or have to check constantly. Because sometimes if the phone shuts off by itself and the screen goes black, it stops uploading. I've had that happen before, and you go back, and it doesn't restart itself. So then you gotta re-upload the video, or delete the other one that's not finished uploading, and then you gotta try re-upload it, and then watch constantly so the screen doesn't turn off. Even if I have the setting set at 30 minutes before the screen turns off, like the maximum time, I'll do something, and 30 minutes will go by like that, and it'll turn off. I think there's a setting for eliminate the lock screen so it doesn't lock at all, but I don't see where it is. I didn't see it. I don't remember seeing that particular setting, although I think I've done it before. No, I don't want to answer questions like that. Danny Moore, I don't want to answer questions like that. Starlink works great. Yeah, if you get Starlink, it works great. I think it's like, last time I checked, it was, what was it? 60 some odd dollars a month. I don't know how much it is now. Plus, you got to buy the equipment or rent the equipment, I think. Patrick Trousdale says, we like the boring stuff. Cheese Wagon, can I order a Jack Crafty apron? I think it would look fantastic. I would look fantastic in one while I cut the cheese. Okay, well, if that's funny. As long as you don't get any funnier than that, I'll allow you to continue to crack some jokes. Yeah. But as everyone knows, if you turn out to be a Fruit Loop, I will delete you. Let's see. Sal says you had to see a side by side in Midland. There was John Deere Gators first, I believe. There was John Deere Gators first. What? What? I'm not understanding anything in this live stream. Jesse says I want one of those side by side UTV for getting up the crazy roads for rock hunting. All righty. Let's see. Administer is here. I use my laptop to stream and the heat is murder on it. Yeah, mine heats up too a little bit. Not too bad though. Let's see. John Turner, Kawasaki mules were some of the first side-by-sides. Cheese Wagon says, just good fun, Patrick. Awesome. Sal says, yeah, he's a big, clumsy animal, 6'7". He's also a chopper. What? Okay, never mind. Talking about his boss, right? Dwayne Griffin is here. Hello. What's with the sunglasses? My eyes get sore if I don't have my sunglasses on. So I'm going to be napping. On all the other live streams with the light in my eyes, I've been napping with sore eyes. It's not fun. So I wear my glasses. Somebody suggested it. I wasn't going to do it unless someone suggested it because now I have an excuse. Someone suggested it in the chat. I guess for you guys, the chat's on this side. Yeah, the chat's on this side, I think, when you guys are watching it. Mm-hmm. Oh, Ken has a question. All righty. Question, Patrick. Did you say you were a vet or a police officer before you retired? Just curious about your life before napping. I was an Army officer in the Texas Army National Guard. Yeah. When I first got in the Texas Army National Guard, I was enlisted. I was specialist before I went to officer training school, or they call it officer candidate school. I graduated from officer candidate school, and they gave me a butter bar, which is a bar as a gold second lieutenant bar. I became a platoon leader. Yes. And I served for a total of 10 years in the National Guard, and I got discharged as a first lieutenant. It was fun. As a platoon leader, that was my favorite time in the National Guard. Yeah. But then they promoted me to executive officer when I became a first lieutenant. That's not a good job. It prepares you to be a company commander, and but I wasn't going to be a lifer for two reasons. One, I didn't finish my college education, and while I was enlisted, they changed the requirements, so officers had to graduate from college before they could be promoted. So I hit the deadline of not having the degree, so I couldn't get promoted any further than first lieutenant anyway. So, and I wasn't going to be a lifer because I'm opposed to war, but I'm supportive of National Guard, right? It was an excellent experience, and we got to train with regular Army. We were a round out unit for the 1st Cavalry Division. We got the Bradley fighting vehicles and all the good stuff. Yeah, we got some good training, and then I had 2 different MOSs: mechanized infantry and combat engineer. Both of those are awesome. Yeah, infantry officer. It was cool. They were nuts to give me the commission, yeah, but they ended up giving it to me. I don't know why. Let's see. So that my service was from 1985 to 1995. Yeah. Thank you for service and answering my question. My step is a Canadian vet. I see. I don't consider myself a vet because I wasn't full time and I wasn't active duty. Uh, I didn't see any disasters and I didn't go to war. So my unit got called up a couple times on standby for national disasters. Right, we didn't go, and we got called up for Desert Storm, the first one. And my unit went to training in California, and I hadn't finished my college education yet. So they say, oh, I don't know, we're only sending fully certified officers to train to go to Desert Storm. So you're just going to go to headquarters and act as a secretary or whatever they want you to do up there in headquarters. So I went to the Camp Mabry in Austin. That was an experience too, because if you see, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're in a meeting with high level officers, they're directing people's lives and they're making decisions about money, equipment, training. And it's like they're talking about dinner or having just a chit chat. It's laid back. Everybody knows their jobs, but it seemed to me that it was supposed to be a little more intense. Talking about blah 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 for the missions coming up, and I was surprised at how casual this stuff is. Yeah, this unit's going here, this unit's going there, and this is going to happen with this kind of training and that kind of training. It's just nonchalant, and you're directing people's lives like you're talking about. Yeah, I used the recipe for the soup is da 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 da. So just piece of cake. Everyone's like, interesting, cool. It was weird. So yeah, I usually downplay my military service because I'm heavily opposed to war. But like I said, I support the National Guard all the way. The militia. What? Mike Mason says Patrick just triggered a memory of building with the words yat yaz. I don't know what that is. Tim Williams, thank you for your service. Texan here. Awesome. The more Texans, the better. I miss everything about Texas except the weather and the desert. Everything else I miss. Anyways. Can't have everything in life. Danny Moore says, Marty, be careful when you take out the paper in the box. Okay, never mind. Danny Moore says, can you heat treat the KRF? Oh, yes. It can be heat treated. Cheese Wagon says, Sal started the end. Cheese Wagon, who are you? Because you know all our inside. Well, apparently some of our inside jokes. Yeah, Cheese Wagon, are you high? Says Sal. Patrick Trousdale. Okay. Johnny Waring. Do you support the National Guard in Chicago? Of course I do. Yeah. They're not going there to. If they were going there for a mission that was, BS, then it would be a good use. But they're going there because of crime, just to help the city reduce crime. How could that be bad? Patrick Trousdale says, let's not get political, but we have laws in the USA. Yeah, we have laws that need to be obeyed so there isn't any crime or to minimize the crime. If there's a lot of crime, that means someone's not obeying the laws. Okay, that makes sense. Either they're not enforcing it, they're not obeying it, or both, if there's a lot of crime. Let's see. Roy says, Patrick, do you like hot climates or cold climates better? I like the cold climates better, or at least some of the year cold. I mean, bitter cold. I don't know if like 7 degrees Fahrenheit is bitter cold, but it gets down to the single digits here in Vermont. And I like to see it getting really cold because then the lakes freeze over. You can go walking out on the lakes. You can go walking out on some parts of the rivers. It turns into real winter. I like real winter. Danny Moore says, I agree with Patrick. I come, let's see, in here to get away from the BS politics. Yeah. Marty says, now that I know about using solid pieces, I might have to try it again. I think I went to 400 degrees with it. Yeah, I've seen Knife River Flint heat treated at 400 degrees. I think it works pretty good at that temperature, but it depends on your particular sample. Sometimes it can be heat treated well at lower temperatures than 400. Danny Moore says, thank you, Patrick. Why have laws if you're not going to enforce them? Yeah, exactly. Patrick says, what I can't get over is 800 laws a year added to enforce other laws. People are nuts. Yeah, the court system, for some reason, they want you to be repetitive or no, redundant. So if it's clear, they write the law the first time and it's clear. However, it doesn't seem like it's enough. So the court wants more laws on top of existing laws to reinforce their positions when they write up their judgments, right? They don't want to just take a little snippet from one piece. They want to have a lot of different snippets when it's not necessary. Their judgments don't have to be like 50 pages long. I don't know what it is, but I guess they want a lot of different laws so that the lawyers can't nitpick and say, well, you're just using a little snippet from one law. You need a lot more than that. We're going to appeal. Stuff like that. It's just ridiculous the way the judicial system works. It doesn't work by logic. It works by who can convince who of what. Sal says, I'm going to start with 350 degrees. I guess that's the Knife River. Yeah, that's a good idea. Roy says, Patrick, believe it or not, I have arthritis or tendonitis at 25. Do you think cold weather is better for that or warm like Florida? Yeah, if you have arthritis and tendonitis, cold weather is not good for you. I feel it. I have a bad left knee. I injured it a long time ago, and I can feel pain in my knee in the cold weather. So it's going to cause you pain. Your arthritis is going to cause you pain in cold weather if you're like me. I don't know if it has anything to do with. What was I going to say? I don't know if the cold weather or just a low pressure does it. It's probably both. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I'm talking about boppers. Somebody gave me I missed a super chat. Let me see. $4.99 super chat for Marty. Thank you. Thanks for the bidding advice. I won all 3 points I bid on last auction. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you won the bid. I'm glad you won the points that you bid on. Yeah. I already sent everything out. You should be getting everything by tomorrow. Usually when I send the things out early Tuesday, everyone gets their stuff by Saturday. Yeah. And I think, Marty, yours is sent in a small flat rate priority box. Mm-hmm. Jesse says someone just posted a beautiful heat treat chart, very well organized. Yeah, I think Danny Collins might have posted one, but that one is an old one from Puget Sound Nappers, and a lot of the heats are too high. Not that it's bad, but it gives you a rough idea of what you need. But many of the heats, especially for Texas stone, are too high on that chart. Okay, I should. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing my own heat treat list and recipes, but I don't have much experience with anything besides Texas stuff. So I would just be regurgitating other people's recipes. But I'll tell you right now, the heat on the Texas materials in that chart are too high. Yeah, and who knows about the other rocks? Let's see. Danny Moore says Jack Crafty is the only person I've seen on YouTube to complete a point out of Knife River Flint that Marty sent so far. I see. Jesse says KRF or Knife River Flint is man rock, like Sal says. Yeah, it can be tough. Yes, you can't let off the gas when you're working with that stuff like you can with some other stuff. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I don't know what this. Mike Mason says Malum and Say laws should be dissolved. I don't know what those are. Let's see. Where's Ralph? Yeah, where is Ralph? Did Cheese Wagon abduct him? Is that the same person? Did Ralph change his handle? What did you do? Did you do it? Danny asks, Patrick, do you think steel would be better for the KRF? What? Steel would be better or copper is better? Copper is better for the Knife River Flint. Even though the Knife River Flint can be tough, I recommend copper. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Ralph Snyder, that's who Ralph is. He's not in the house today. Let's see. Jesse says, thanks for the heads up, Patrick. You're welcome. I think you're talking about the heat treating chart. All right, I'm going to start napping in about 8 minutes. This chat has gone by really fast. If you have questions, better ask now, or I'm going to be napping and ignoring the chat. Patrick says you should do auctions after supper instead of at work time. Well, I do the well for you maybe it's supper time. No, I don't know. Like the guys in the West Coast, they have it worse than others. I close the auction at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and that's like 6 p.m. California time on the West Coast, right? So 10 or 9 p.m. Eastern is 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. Yeah. So um, are you still at work at 6 Pacific? Well, you're probably driving home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I could delay it until like 10. I could stop the auction at 10 p.m. Eastern, but a lot of people are not up at that time because they got to go to work the next day. I mean, they might be up, but they're like snoozing or not snoozing. They're scrolling so they can snooze, fall asleep. Wear their brains out, doom scroll until your brain quits, and then you fall asleep. How do I know? I don't know. Roy asks, is there any way to tell if a campfire heat treat is the right temperature without using a thermometer? Nope. No way to tell. You just got to get used to it. There's no way to tell. Now, assuming that you're burying the stones. If you're not burying the stones, There's two ways you can tell. What I do, I don't bury the stones when I heat treat in a campfire. I make a fire and then I use the coals in a mound, and then I arrange the flakes around the coals. So I can't heat treat too much at one time. Just whatever fits around in a circle around the coals. All right, and there's two ways I can monitor the heat. I can cook meat right next to the stones, and if it's cooking, I know it's at least 300 degrees or so. And if it's roasting, it's like 400 degrees. I can put meat next to the stones, and if the meat is cooking, like I say, that's the right temperature. If the meat's burning, it's way too high. If the meat's not cooking, it's way too low. Also, you can tell by the change in color if it's a color changing stone, but you got to be able to see. Otherwise, if you bury the stones and then build a fire on top, you just got to get used to how much coals. Put your hands out and say, okay, I think that's the right amount of heat coming off this fire. I don't know exactly what's penetrating into the earth, but from the outside, it feels like this is the right intensity from lots of different trial and error. Okay. My friend Don Tower, he heats rocks underground and builds a fire on top of them. I've never been able to heat treat well that way. I have to watch the stones and watch the coals and keep adding to the coals and be somewhere where there's no wind. I had to set up windbreak like a tarp or something to prevent wind from coming across and changing the temperature of my stones, because that breaks them up. I like to watch my stones during the heat treat. And it only takes 30 minutes to an hour to heat treat. It doesn't take no 6 hours, 12 hours, or overnight. You know what I mean? It doesn't take that long. Mike Mason says, those are laws that have nothing to do with evil actions. It's a law that hurts nobody when broken. Malum ense. Okay, the other is malum prohibitum. I learned about these while hating the NFA and the CGA. I see. A law that hurts nobody when broken. Well, it depends on what you define as hurt, because a lot of the laws are designed to prevent financial abuse. It doesn't hurt you, but like excessive bank fees, there's laws against banks charging excessive fees. It doesn't hurt if the fee is $10 instead of $7.50, but it's an excessive bank fee. I don't like abuse of fees as an example. There's many other examples that don't hurt, but you need laws to prevent abuse. Let's see. If Cheese is Ralph, he'll talk about face napping sometime before he leaves. Yep. Patrick Trousdale says a campfire heat treat is sand thickness, fire size, and keep them out of the center. I see. Administrator says, I see a lot of guys making blade cores. I know if you overheat a piece, you get plenty of blades all at once. Patrick says, I'm in Texas, so Central Time. So are you at work at 8 p.m. Monday night when the auction ends for you? Dang it. All right, I'm going to start napping here soon. Let's see here. Let's see. Who is Cheese Wagon? That's the guy who won Sal's obsidian knife? Okay. Yeah, Mike Mason, you have a rifle with a 15-inch barrel. Well, hopefully you bought the pistol version. Let's see. I can't heat treat anything in the near future. I'm asking so I know what kinds I can buy that won't need heat and what stones will have to be. That's an interesting point of view. Yeah. Because a lot of the raw stuff doesn't need heat, but it does improve with heat. Nothing has to be heat treated, except very few, like Brazilian agate. That one has to be heat treated because it's completely miserable when it's raw. And there's a couple other ones that don't nap at all in a raw state. But those are the exceptions. They're like maybe 1 to 5% of stones that um, are nappable only as heat treats. Everything else it can be napped raw. Basically, 95% of stones can be napped raw that are considered by the napping community as good. All right. Now, a lot of that stuff can improve with heat. At least 50%, 50% of the stuff that's considered good can improve with heat treatment. It does not include any of the obsidians or dacites. And a lot of the basalts do not heat treat. This volcanic stuff is not heat treatable. And there are exceptions to the others that are good to nap, that are cherts or flints that do not respond to heat treat, like hornstone. Do not heat treat hornstone because it's already nature's heat treat. It's already been heated underground by nature. As an example, so it's complicated. If you want to know this, what kinds I can buy that won't need heat and what stones will have to be heated. If you're brand new, this is a rabbit hole. This is what we call a rabbit hole in Flintknapping. Is the heat treats. If you're new, if you're experienced, it won't be a rabbit hole. Just be just a regular hunting expedition. But if you're new, this is complicated. Yeah. All right. You can complicate yourself to death, is in other words, and you'll end up buying something that, well, I thought it needed heat treatment, and then I heated it, but it got ruined. But turns out I didn't even need to heat it because I was chipping some of the raw stuff after I broken up all the other stuff, and it works. So don't depend on someone telling you it needs heat. Because I've seen guys ruin their batches of stone when they didn't have to because they could have napped it raw. Like Flint River, Swirl Chert, Coastal Plains Chert from Georgia. It naps well raw, but it does also nap well heat treated. But it can be ruined easily with heat treatment. Same with root beer, uh, Flint or Chert from Texas, and probably Knife River. If you heat it too high, it ruins it. But it doesn't need heat necessarily. But some people will say, yeah, heat treated because that's what I do. Yeah, well, it might ruin it. All right, so I'm going to switch over to another view, and I got to put on my good luck apron. Hold on. What am I doing? I'm going to start napping. Some people are saying, "Hey, dude, the clock's ticking. You're missing by 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Don't keep me waiting." Yeah, I know. I mean, don't keep me waiting for even 1 minute, because I can switch to not watching you in less than a minute. It took me like 5 seconds. You better be napping 5 seconds after you announced, because it's supposed to be punctual. Yeah. All right, this is going to work. Yes. What I'm doing is I switched over to solid copper boppers. Okay. All right. Solid copper. This is a 1 inch diameter. 1 inch diameter. If you don't get it precisely, exactly correct, you'll never be able to nap. Okay? It's going to mess you all up. It won't mess you all up in this stage, in the initial stages. What you have to worry about with the subtleties is in the final stages. All right, so you can have like one, you can have 7/8 or 1 1/8 or some weird millimeters doesn't have to be exactly 1 inch. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same length as mine. I think this was 3 inches. Yeah, this is 3 inch. It can be 2 3/4 or 3.5 or whatever. It could be variable. In this initial stage of reduction that I use this for, it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, I can't see. Now I can see, but you can't. Right? Right. I need to be able to see, even though you can't, but maybe you can get the angles. Okay, maybe you can understand what's going on anyway. But this is this is good, Georgetown. I don't want to waste it by not being able to see. Ooh, I took too much off. I got to get rid of the square edge. But what I'm going to have to do is not zigzag it because it's way too narrow for zigzagging. How do I know? From experience. Yeah. That's the only reason. Otherwise, mathematically, it seems possible that I could zigzag it. But no, from experience, it'd be too difficult. And yeah, it naps well. And yeah, it's flat, but I'm going to round one end, but you'll see. I can use either end when they're both flat or both round. I don't have to worry about, okay, what side am I going to use? Does it make a difference? It does, yes, a little bit. There's a different striking technique. But the brain takes over. I can't explain it. The brain takes over what you need to adjust with these different tool surfaces, flat or round. You can even have a chamfer, a nice, perfect chamfer. It depends on what you want to do. Yeah, you can experiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take flakes off like that until I get it thin instead of zigzagging it because it's too narrow to zigzag. And I can still use these blocky chunks for small arrowheads later on. It's high grade stuff. I don't want to waste this, so I'll save it. I got to be careful though because sometimes I can remove too much. I've been known to remove too much. Yeah. It's glancing blows. Glancing. See how it's not this. Some guys want to go pop like this straight in. I do a glancing blow. That way it just catches the very edge and it skins off only a little bit. Okay? Just got to practice it. Flintknapping is 90% practice. Maybe 99% practice. And 1% stupidity. Because you're gonna mess it up. You're gonna do stupid stuff and go, that was stupid. Yeah. Well, the way you nap, it's like the other way around. It's like 1% is good and 99% stupid. I know some people think that when they watch me nap. Yeah. I've heard it before. How do I know when to hit or where to hit? I wish I knew. Believe it or not, I can nap without thinking about it too much. Yeah. Normally I can't multitask, but for some reason I can nap and talk at the same time. Unless it's getting to the point where I got to focus more intently on what I'm doing. So I don't have distractions. But yeah, I can do both because the subconscious takes over the napping quite a bit. Whoa, what's going on? I might not be able to do this with the billet. I skin off this other surface. I might have to use the indirect percussion flaker because it's got to be very accurate. I can't be all that accurate with the. Besides, I got my sunglasses. No wonder I was having some hard time seeing. Dang it. Anyways. Whoa, that's much better. Anyways, I got to be very precise, and the billet is known for inaccuracy. Oh no, I see a crack in this. Yep. Why did it crack? Because it's got some kind of weird cracking going on the side anyway, so it's making it unpredictable. That's my excuse. Yeah, I think there's some incipient cracks. See though, all those? That's like quarry cracks where the machinery has really stressed the stone quite a bit when removing it from the quarry. Well, Georgetown is not quarried for itself. It's the chalk that is quarried for construction material. This is still good for Arrowhead, but I lost a lot of length. It took a big bite out of crime. Yeah. But yeah, if you get quarry stone, like I think this is, sometimes you'll have a lot of incipients from the machinery. What's an incipient? It's little aliens that come in when you have goof ups, and they live in there, and they'll mess up your day. They'll sabotage you. They're little saboteurs, like sabotage. They're partisans. The incipients are partisans, and they'll sabotage your Flintknapping. Yeah, got the sneaky little ways. Partisans. It's partisans, dude. I don't know what you're talking partisans. Okay, fine. All right, let's see. Am I missing something in the chat? Victimless crimes. What else are we seeing here? I can't heat treat anything in the near future. Okay. What is this going on? What's going on here? Let's see. All right, so yeah, I use medium-sized gloves, yes. Yep. Medium size, let's see. Did he get an eye exam for the sunglasses? I forgot to ask Patrick. No, I did not get an eye exam for the sunglasses. But I examined my own eyes in my last live streams, and it looks like my eyes are dying. It's because they're highly irritated. I'm light sensitive. I hate sunlight. I hate bright sunlight, I should say. I don't hate sunlight. I just hate it when it's bright. As an example, I hate going to the beach during the day because of the sunlight. I'll go to the beach at night all day long. Does that make sense? Yeah, makes sense. I'll go to the beach all day long at night. What am I doing? I forgot to make sure these are smooth. What is this? It's magic rocks. You didn't know? It's a part of a big old industrial grinding wheel. You can't get it because it's only from industrial people. Yeah, I'm lucky. You're going to have to suffer with regular grinding wheels. Yep. All right. Well, I kicked the computer. Okay, but not the phone. Yeah, I've got the phone on a different stand. I got 3 different stands. I got this light here on one stand. I got the phone on another stand, and I got the computer on another stand. Yeah, and then I'm sitting on this. Everything's got stands on it, or supports or pedestals. Yeah, everything's on a pedestal. That's the way I like it. Can you see? No? Let's see if I turn this off. I can't see, but you can see. I can try to do this so you can see. Boy, I can't see nothing. Hopefully, I'm not going to mess this up. So if I can't see, I don't know how. I don't know how high up on the edge I am. Have I napped in low light conditions? Oh, yes. You can nap by firelight in low light conditions inside of a little campsite or inside a lodge or whatever. How do I know? I don't know. All right, so it's starting to get thinner, right? I'm taking off. Some of these are suitable for arrowheads, but some of them become crud flakes because they're too thin or too curved or both. This one's it's good for slicing meat as an example, but to make an arrowhead, it's a little bit too thin. It's you can nap around the edges, I suppose, but I'm trying to preserve this and make a larger biface or as large a biface as I can. Okay. I don't know. I can't see. Much better. Yep. There we go. Are we cooking with gas now? Yes, we are. Yep. And if you can't see what I'm doing, I don't know what to tell you. If I can't see, then you're not going to get the benefit anyway, because I'm going to be on stupid napping. Yeah. At least you can see a potential result. See, some of these can be made into arrowheads. Where did that come off from? It came off from right there. And if you want to be entertained, I can flick those off. But this is a little bit curved. So it's not that great for an arrowhead. It's better as a utilized flake. It can slice meat, tendon, not bone. Don't touch the bone with the stone tools. Don't touch the bone with the stone. That's the rule of butchering. And archaeologists, unfortunately, haven't learned that lesson. I don't know why, but it's just something that I see a lot of. Yeah, early man learned that a long time ago. Don't touch the bone with the stone. Why? Because bone naps stone. You're going to get chips in the meat. No one's going to want to eat it. Would you like to eat meat with stone chips because you hit bone?
Well, how are you supposed to get it off the bone?
You haven't been butchering, have you? You have to be very, very careful. And sometimes you'll hit the bone by accident, but that's fine. But don't be putting all kinds of marks in the bone. Yeah. If there's marks in the bone, chances are you're not going to be eating it. And it's defleshed for some other reason that we won't get into on this channel or in this live stream. Yeah.
Wait, you're holding out on us, dude. I don't like it.
Okay, well, there's different different circumstances for using stone weapons, not just for hunting. Sometimes it's for fighting. Sometimes it's for collecting war trophies. Sometimes just because you're kicked off at somebody. You never know. Like you do that again, I'm gonna slice you to the bone, dude. This is sliced right down to the bone. And that's what I'll do. You tick me off enough. And the archaeologists come back later. It appears that this particular individual was butchered, perhaps to obtain sustenance. No, it's because he didn't listen when he said, I'm going to slice you to the bone, dude. Yeah, he didn't listen. That's what it is. Yeah. Last thing he's gonna do is chow down on that guy. He hates that dude. Alrighty. Yeah. Unfortunately, I scooped it, trying to do it, trying to be smarty pants and do a flake all the way across, but I didn't. It didn't do it, and I still get a square edge on one side. So I'm trying to be careful because I'm using the indirect percussion, or using indirect percussion allows me to be more careful, but for some reason, I know what it is. I'm talking too much. I can multitask up to a point. But when it starts getting difficult, multitasking is highly overrated. Yeah. People say, "Oh, you can multitask? That's so awesome and cool and fantastic and wonderful." No, not when you're Flintknapping. Just subtle little mistakes can make all the difference in how the thing looks in the end. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yes. Those are the ones I like. I like when they cooperate because that's what I was hoping it would do. And yeah, I've heard it from a guy before that he said something like, back in the day they didn't just hit and pray. Back in the day they didn't hit and pray. They knew what they're doing. No, it's always hit and pray. Patrick Trousdale, $5 super chat. I saw it. Even though I'm napping, I can triple task. I can nap, talk, and see super chats. I'm so stupid. All right. We're getting there slowly. I am zigzagging this side. I'll try to be serious. All right. All right. Try to be serious. All right. Come on. Yes. Yes. Is it doing it? It's doing it. Is it fantastic? It's fantastic. Almost fantastic. Yay, the hard part's, or not the hard part, the easy part's over. Now the hard part begins. All right, let's see. I gotta move stuff out of the way for this next part. Is if I drop it on these flakes, see, it's a pile of crud flakes, right? Dropping the workpiece on the crud flakes is something that you will never forgive yourself for, because it's completely preventable. Yep. So move the crud flakes out of the way, because you drop it on the crud flakes, it might break the tip off. And you know how bad that is. Oh, yes. Most of the time, you're fine. If you drop a thick biface onto your pile of flakes, most of the time, you're fine. But it's that one exception that breaks the tip off that you've been trying to preserve the whole time that really, really makes you want to slice someone to the bone. Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. The hard part is coming up. In the end's always first. See, it's still thicker in the middle. See how it's thicker in the middle than on the ends? Well, I got to keep it that way all through this process. All right, I could start thinning the middle first because it's so juicy. Some people say, "Yeah, man, I want to get that turtleback off right away because I can't stand it. If it's not gone, it's not gone. I can't stand it." Yeah, I know, but you got to hold off. Yeah, just calm your jets, cool your jets, whatever the thing is, whatever the expression is. Yeah, don't go riding your side by side just yet. Let's calm down. Make sure the ends are thin first before you start. Whack-a-mole, the middle. A little bit too much. That's a cool gut hook, man. You can use it as a gut hook. Just leave it in there. Yeah. Well, the thing is, even with that cool gut hook, it's only good for a few uses before you got to resharpen it. Especially if the fish has some pretty good scales on it. Of course, they don't get much. There's not much scales on the gut. I mean, on the underside. But you know what I mean. If you accidentally ding it, you're gonna have to resharpen. So it's not it's not the best idea in the world to put a gut hook in a stone blade because you're gonna have to resharpen it. How do I know? I don't know. All right, so let's see. That just reminded me of people that want to have gut hooks on their stone blades. Nothing wrong with it. It's just you're gonna have to resharpen it, dude. No, I just want to use it once. It's my bucket list. Just need to use the stone gut hook one time only, so I can die peaceful. Okay, I understand. Go ahead and do it. I'm not saying you can't do it, or you shouldn't. I'm just saying that it's not something I normally do because I gotta worry about the resharpening part, and I hate that part. Yeah. You can slice open the gut with something like this, like a utilized flake. Just zip with just a flake. You don't have to ruin your knife. Or you don't have to use your knife. You just get a flake like this. And you can gut fish with it. See how thin that is? You will not be able to nap a blade that thin. So go ahead and use this. Zip, unzip those fish with a flake like this. Unzip, next fish, unzip, next fish, unzip. I don't know if you can see. Do you understand? You can never nap something that sharp. Oops. Now I can see that the video's messing up. You see how thin that is? You can never nap something that thin and that sharp bifacially. So you use flakes for that kind of operation. And unzip those fish. And that goes for deer or any other animal that you're gutting. Use a flake. Yeah, but I bought the knife so I can use it while hunting. Yeah, well, if the deer isn't fully dead, then you stab it. Okay? There, use your knife for hunting. It's a dispatch knife. Yeah. Or you can use it for skinning too, but I would rather use flakes for gutting and skinning. Because what else are you going to use them for? You're just going to throw them away anyway. Those are crud flakes. You can use a crud flake for skinning and gutting and butchering. And get your knife ready in your sheath on your belt. In case someone says they want to come over and steal your deer. Back in the day, an animal or a human come by and want to steal your deer. And you got your knife for that. You're not going to defend your deer with, okay, wolf, come at me, dude. I got the flake. No, you're going to want something like this for predator, human, or otherwise. Okay? You use this for processing your game, but to defend your game, You bring a knife to that kind of fight. You don't bring a flake. Only flakes use flakes for fighting. Okay? It's easy to remember. Dude, just shut up and do the napping. It's supposed to be only napping. Well, I'm doing this because I'm not going to be doing very many napping yap regular videos. So I'm doing my napping yap on my live streams. I'm going to do a lot of no talk videos because I enjoy doing those more than the talking videos. Believe it or not. Yeah, I don't want to be sitting here talking while I'm napping, especially if I'm going to be selling that point that I'm napping. It's a lot less stressful if I don't talk while I'm napping, if I'm going to be selling that item. Yeah. So I'll be doing a lot of no talk videos. So you're going to have to tune into the live streams to get the yap and nap. How many people we got? 38? 38 smart people. Yep. All right, so yeah. So I'm thinking that you can get benefit from the live streams by getting your questions or curiosities satisfied in real time. So you don't have to wait. Alan Cole says, I subscribe for the smack talk. Am I alone? Yes, you are, Alan. I get criticized for smack talk. Yep. I get unsubscribed because of smack talk. People unsubscribe me because of my smack talk. Why are you always making fun of people that like to use natural tools? Why do you make fun of archaeologists and make them sound all stupid? Why? I don't like it. No, unsubscribe. Making fun of people. Who do you think you are anyway? I'm nobody. Nope. You want to unsubscribe because of that? Go right ahead. In fact, I hope you do it quickly. I do it all in fun. There is some truth to it because I do have disputes with the way archaeologists go about their research sometimes. But it's not all bad. I'll just let you know what my opinion is on some of those studies or conclusions. Or practices. There are some practices and assumptions that archaeologists and anthropologists make that don't make any sense. I've said it before that some of the dumbest stuff I've ever heard in my life was from people with extremely high intelligence. Yeah. It's a paradox wrapped in an enigma. Or whatever the expression is. You should be explaining exactly what you're doing every step of the way. I want to hear the explanations, dude. I don't want to hear about nothing else. Yeah, some people want me to explain everything. And I'll let you in on a secret in case you don't know. I don't always know why I do it. I let my subconscious do the hard parts. I don't want to be thinking about the hard parts every single second. Why did I decide to take that flake? The easy answer is look at the result. That's why I did it. Now, is that a perfect answer? No, because sometimes the result is not what I intended. But you want the easy answer like you're 5? Look at the result. That's why I did it. Yeah, well, you broke it. Is that what you wanted? No. But even a 5-year-old knows that. It's accident. Even a 5-year-old goes, I didn't mean it. It's accident. They say accident. It's accident. So they know. Okay? You don't got no excuses. All right? If you want to know the complicated answer, I would have to go into prioritizing and risk management and all that. It's a game of priorities and risk management. It's like a sport. And I'm going to try to finish this within a certain amount of time, too. I don't have all day. I got to get back into the chat in about 10 minutes. I want to accomplish making a bifacial blade out of this at a reasonable size, reasonable width, reasonable length compared to what I started with in the amount of time I have allotted myself, and make it, reasonably thin. But there's risks involved. I've got to prioritize what I do. But if I have to think about it constantly, I might mess it up. Yeah. I don't know exactly what the physics is. I got to depend a lot on muscle memory and what worked before, without knowing the physics, without knowing the angles. You go by feel. It's instinctive, like instinctive archery shooting. It carries over, and it becomes a mindset. A lot of archers back in the day were instinctive shooters. And when you shoot a flake, you're instinctively shooting a flake. So it's very similar to instinctive shooting with archery, for example. Now, does the instinctive shooter tell you the process of everything that's going on? Exactly how he knows where to aim, if he does aim? Usually it's not an aim, it's a feel. What angle that you elevate your bow to get the arc with the arrow flight. What is that angle? Why do you choose that one? Why do you hold your bow like this, kind of slanted instead of straight? Or maybe it's in between slanted and straight. And why do you not keep the same angle every time? Because I've seen you shoot straight. I've seen you shoot slanted. I've seen you shoot like that. What's up, dude? Instinctive shooting, it depends on the situation. Sometimes if you're behind cover, you can't stand up straight, so your bow has to be at an angle to fit. Sometimes you do want to stand up straight. It depends on the situation. Sometimes you got to get down on your elbows and you got to try to shoot from almost a prone position, so that your bow is going to be almost horizontal. If you're that kind of hunter, like if you're stalking, you got to be able to shoot from many positions. It's like Flintknapping. It carries over to Flintknapping. Many different situations, you got to be able to hold the workpiece at different angles to get it to overcome different situations. It's not always the same. Okay? It's instinctive. It's difficult to describe what is instinctive. Just snapped it. See, if I wasn't describing it, I wouldn't have snapped it. Let's see, is it thinner? Is it too thin? No. It was just I hit it too hard. Yep. Trying to explain or getting all upset that someone wants me to explain it. That's what you get. Anyway, it's not a waste. I can still use these pieces, but it's not supposed to be snapping halfish. It's a good stone. It wasn't supposed to break. Yeah. All right, let me try to reduce this one. Did you learn something from that break? No? Oh well. This is real. That's not. This is a lighter color. It feels good though. it's not the same color as this Georgetown. See the different grades? No? But you see that one is darker than the other? The darker ones are a little bit more difficult to predict, I think, than the lighter color, but we'll see. It's been my experience that the darker Georgetown is a little more difficult to predict. It can be finicky. But I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm just letting you know. I have high hopes for this piece, this particular piece. Yep. If I don't scoop it too much. Yeah. Yikes. I'm afraid to look at the chat. Let's see here. Let's see. Unleash the angry chicken. Yeah, I gotta unleash the angry chicken on this piece so I can nap it quickly. Oh, I can put this in the Brooks and Bifaces. That way you guys can see what kind of Georgetown that is. So yeah, I gotta hold on a second while I gotta take off some very important flakes here in a second. I don't want to mess it up. Does it make a difference now that I'm using this flat or this solid copper billet with a flat end? Yeah, it makes a little bit of a difference. There's a bit of a learning curve. I got to get used to it. I'm still not completely used to it, but this is the relatively easy part, so it's not a big deal. But, I could mess it up because I'm not used to it. Yeah, like that. That's the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah. If it works like you hope, it's usually luck. So I probably cannot do that twice in a row. But it did. I got a coast to coast. See, an overshot takes off width, but that didn't take off any width. So I call that a coast to coast. So the first one was pretty good, right? Or this one over here, whichever one was it. I think it was this one. Coast to coast and then another coast to coast. It's kind of rare for me to get two of those in a row, but we'll see. Maybe I can get three. Yes, maybe. I got to make sure I'm hitting on solid stone and not the cortex. That's why I did that. But it's still too much cortex. Let's see. I might have to just zigzag it and not try for a long flake. Yeah. Hold on. I can't do any drama. I could try for a long flake, but I gotta get this cortex off of there by zigzagging. That's the best way. Safest. Okay, so most of it's off. Now I can see if I can take a big flake. Okay, let's see. Come on. I know you can do it. Okay, and you do too much. Too much is not good. Now I'm afraid to hit it. There we go. There it is. It's another long, semi-long flake. That's it could be worrisome that broke, but there's cortex right there, so it's not that worrisome. If it's a clean surface and it does break in half, that could indicate that the whole piece is snap in halfish type of flint. When it's snap in halfish, I gotta be napping it in a thicker state than I normally would. Can't be going crazy with the thinning if it's snap in halfish. All right, so I'm just going to take it slow here. This has a good weight to it. 3 inches by 1 inch. It's not hurting my wrist or anything, is what I meant. And it, it has good weight compared to the workpiece, but don't get all caught up in trying to figure out how much the billet should weigh in proportion to the workpiece. There's a big range. You can work with different weights. All right, I'm going to take off some big... The easy part's over. Now the hard part begins. Okay. Okay. Ready? Yikes. They got me a good flake, but at what cost? That was a nasty break. I think the first time I hit it cost some incipients. Because that's all nasty now in there. I did not expect that. Yikes. I got to make sure that the edge is strong so that the first strike doesn't cause a lot of incipients. Because that's pretty nasty. Yeah, that's not good. See, if the first strike doesn't do well, it causes incipient cracks. And those incipient cracks can really mess up the surface because the flakes won't travel like they should. They'll do all kinds of weird things. Not in all cases, but you always have to watch out for those exceptions. All right. I got to smoothen that out somehow. And symmetritize this. Come on. There it is. All right, ready? No? I still need to get used to this billet. Yes, I do. I like it, but it's a little bit aggressive. Yeah. All right. Dang it. It looks a little bit wonky. All right, so let's try some indirect percussion. Stay a little late. You guys don't mind if we stay a little late? Let's see. Yeah, before I do the indirect percussion, I've got to grind this down a lot. And I've been looking at the chat too while I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. All right. Here we go. The base is too thick, so I got to thin that down. All right. Let's try to do it quickly. Let us try to do it quickly. We can do it. Uh-oh. Is it cooperating? Kind of, sort of. Is it good stone? Kind of, sort of. I got a lot of crud flakes down here. Gonna fall on my crud flakes. All right. 9:51. Dang it. Let's see if I can get this to the same place as the other one without snapping it. Look at all that dust. Dang it. My whole house is going to be covered in dust. My office table is already covered in dust. From the last stones that I napped, they were dusty. Whatever I napped last time. Did it work? I think it worked. Oh, no, not like that. I hit the workpiece. See, that will snap it in half too. Okay. There we go. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it. But even just a little bit, it can slip and I can do that. Like I did just a second ago. Why would I put a little bit of pressure on there? It just adds more energy. I want those flakes to travel. I don't want that flake to wimp out in the middle of it traveling. I'm just taking opportunistic strikes, okay? There's no exact formula. Yeah, some people get disappointed that there's no exact formula that I use. There's no recipe. There's no 1, 2, 3. Do it like me. It's variable. Just because I do it doesn't mean that's the right way or the wrong way. It's just the way I'm interpreting the risks and relying a lot on feel as to what is going to produce that flake without causing a break. Get the flake without causing a break. Yikes. It's not good when it wants to be tough. It's starting to say, yeah, you want to get them long flakes on a thin surface. I don't think so. The rock tells you, I don't think so. You go, yes, I've done it before. But the rock says, nah, I might You might have done it before, but I might not cooperate. You never know. Yeah, that's the bad part. You never know when the rock's going to cooperate or not. Seems like it is. It's going pretty good so far. Do I like working these blades? No. Anything over 4 inches is not that exciting for me. Because 2 reasons. One is so many flakes on one piece. And number 2, it's a different mindset because it's easier to snap a longer piece in half than it is a shorter piece. Some people might say, no, I snap everything. It's not easier. It's all the same. Okay, well, for some people, it's all the same. For me, I snap these longer ones easier. Or some people say, no, I break the small ones every time. The smaller it is, the more I break. Period. End of story. Okay, fine. Everyone's a little bit different. Alrighty, here we go. Yes, yes. Oh, it almost reached. Almost reached the back of that step fracture. See that? It went zip, but it stopped, and I got a land bridge and a buffalo jump. There's a buffalo jump on the land bridge. See that? I'm just gonna do a little tapiola on the buffalo jump so it reduces it somewhat. See that? Maybe it'll make it easier on the next strike to eliminate it. But I'm not going to eliminate it yet because I got to keep it fat in the middle for now. I got to come back to it because it's getting too thin in the middle compared to the ends. What time is it? 9:57? Yeah, we're going to go a little bit over tonight, so I want to get this down to a reasonable size blade, a reasonable thinness on the blade. It's still not thin enough to be reasonable. Yeah. Just saying. I don't know what's reasonable. Maybe it is to the point where I like it. When I stop hating it, that's it. When I get it to the point where I stop hating it, that's when I'm going to stop. Mm-hmm. So Ralph Snyder is in the house. I saw his comment. Ready? Yes, I'm ready. Not like that. It didn't do nothing. It's not doing it. I want it without step fractures. I might not be able to get it what I want. It may be too wide to get what I want. I want the no step fracture effect. Yeah. Come on. I think I can do it. Yeah. All right, let's see. Yes. It did it. Okay, so I set it up for that particular flake. I thinned the space down quite a bit. because I hit the middle really, really hard to get that long flake to take off that buffalo jump and lamb bridge. See that? It got both. And as usual, it does scoop a little bit at the end because it wants to dive a little bit. But I can take that out with another flake from this side. In theory. Yeah. That's the one I was worried about. Everything else is going to be relatively easy peasy. Relatively speaking. As long as I don't go too thin with it. Yeah. As long as I don't go too thin. How thin can I go? Just 6:1 is usually what I stop at. 6:1 width to thickness ratio is fine. It's good enough. Maybe I'll make a Belize point. See, I got my cast in my case. I got a case at the last nap-in. And there's my Belize cast. I'm going to start making little reproductions of it. I think I can make one out of this. Georgetown. Biface. There's enough room in it. Now, I don't think they had gray flint in Belize, but they might have. But, you can't mistake it for the real one if I make it out of a material was not available to the real ones. So yeah, that's the size I need as a biface to make one of these Belize paleos. Supposedly it's a paleo, but I still haven't looked it up to confirm that. It's a cast. It's not a real one. It's a plastic cast of a real one found in Belize. And I'll show it on another video close up because there's a lot of neat characteristics. Neat as in cool, awesome, fantastic, and whoa. Yeah. Gotta add the whoa. All right. Uh-oh, we're losing the video. It's getting all choppy. It's getting nasty. Are we back? I gotta wait. This Georgetown has good feel to it, even though it did break. This has better feel. The lighter color. Okay, I'll wait till this video goes back to normal. All right, are we ready? See, this lighter color Georgetown has a better feel to it than this darker one, although it's very similar. I do like this, the lighter one better. Now, sometimes you'll get a light color Georgetown that naps really crappy and it needs to be heat treated. This one doesn't, right? So it's highly variable. Just because you have a piece that looks just like this doesn't mean it's going to nap just like this. Okay? It has a little bit of concrete, but that didn't interfere at all. I don't see any problem with these little lighter color patches in this particular piece. All right, so that's just the basic biface. I removed the stuff that was making me hate it. Everything else is relatively easy peasy. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got in the chat. Hold on. Let me put my tools away and stuff. That way I can concentrate. Don't have all this mess everywhere making me distracted. Yes? Where's my sunglasses? Let me put those back on. All right. Empty out my shoes. Yeah, that's always a good idea. Yeah. Lots of flacolas in there. It's already 10:04. It's past my bedtime. All right, where are we? Can't see nothing, dude. Yeah, I know. Hold on a second. I don't need that anymore. All right, let's see. Where am I? There. Yes. Now I can put my sunglasses back on. Right? Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, reading the chat makes me irritated. Makes my eyes irritated. Okay. Scooping halfish. Yeah, that's a good expression. Ralph, scooping halfish. Yeah. All right, where am I? What am I missing? Yeah, electronics were acting up a little while ago. All right, so I can end the live stream anytime I want, but I'm just going to try to catch up. Hippie Mike says, good evening, Patrick. Yay, brand new day. I showed up 10:05, 5 minutes after closing. Yeah. Mike says, oh, dang, Pat. Oh, dang, what? Was it 7-1, Patrick? Well, this particular Biface, no, it's not 7-1. It's not that good. I'm not that good. Let's see. That I didn't want to mess it up, so I didn't try it all that hard. I can't see. All right, so let's do it. I'm going to do a ratio. Width to thickness with millimeters. The width 70 millimeters or 7 centimeters or thereabouts. Let me see. Am I cheating? Yeah, it's probably, let's just try 68. 68 millimeters. Okay. By, it's 12. Yeah, it's 12 millimeter thick. Mm-hmm. Come on. Come on. See that? So what is 12 into 68? Oh, let's see. It's not quite 6-1 because 6-1 would be 72 millimeter wide. So it's almost 6-1. So not too much thinner would be a reasonable piece. I can probably get it to 7-1, but I would have to be a lot more careful. Yes. And get it more narrow so that I can reach across easier. Because with that one that I reached across with here, that one I took out, the Buffalo Jump, and the last one, that one's a risky flake. I can't always be doing those because that's a hard hit. Right? I know I can do one on this width, but it doesn't always work. So I would make it more narrow, and then I'd make it thinner, and to get a better than 6-1. Yeah, better than 6-1, I would make it more narrow. But then I couldn't make my belief point. Although I don't know if I'm going to do it. We'll see. I'll finish that up and put it in the auction as something. I don't know yet. It's weird again, Pat. I don't know. This connection, it should be good. Let's see. Patrick says, Patrick, how many points can you get out of a biface if you tried? You mean using these flakes that I remove from my attempt to biface? It depends on the quality of the flakes. Archaeologists measure it by weight. The best I can do is 10%. Good to waste on a single piece. From a rock to point, 10%. So by weight on a finished piece from the rock to the point, 10%. Now, using all the other pieces to make small points from, I've tried to measure that. and it's variable. Sometimes I can't get much at all. Sometimes I can get a bunch of pieces. Like from this particular episode, there's two for sure. I get those two. I don't know about that one. For sure, I can get one of that. This one can be made to a point. This one can be made into a point. I'm looking for the lighter color ones because I got them mixed up in here with the darker. That's about, well, I think this is one. Yeah, I think this is the, but this might be the darker. This is a lighter piece. I might be able to get one out of that. Maybe. There's a lot of cortex. Well, let's just say I can get more points out of it. That's 5 pieces. This one is kind of curved. Maybe not. I would say I can get 5 more points of various sizes. And I've tried this experiment before, but sometimes you just can't get much at all. Sometimes you can get a lot. Depends on how the flakes go and if they're cracked. If the material is very consistent and very thick to start with, you can obviously get more points in comparison to the biface. If you start with a really thick thing and your biface only needs to be thin, how do I put this? If you start with something thick and your biface is thin that you're wanting, there's a lot of nice flakes that come off on something thick. Whereas if you start with something already thin, there's not many that you can use. So it's highly variable. I was talking about if you all something way back when was a biface. How many points can you get out of a biface for arrow points on the trail? Let's see. On the trail, not many. I would say average of 3. I'm just guessing. Biface and 3 points from something you would carry with you on the trail. That's it. You're going to break some. The flakes are not going to come off in one piece in many cases. They don't all come off in one piece. If it's a snap and half-ish, again, we're getting into variables. If it's a snap and half-ish type of stone, the flakes that would have been long enough for good long points snap in half, so now you get 2 small points. And if you don't want 2 small points on the trail, you're not going to get any. If all the flakes you take off are snap and half-ish, you're not going to get any. And sometimes you'll get a lot. So I would say an average of 3 points for every biface that you take on the trail with you. Gulf Coast napping. What are we napping tonight? It's already over. The live stream is over. We are not napping anything because I finished already. In Georgetown. We were napping Georgetown. I snapped the first attempt right here. It was a chunker anyway. It's this stuff here. I got this from Danny Collins. He sent this to me to try out. And I'm trying it out on video. So I've got, this is actually feeling like a better quality than this darker stuff. But it's very similar. They're both high grade. Yeah. I would consider these are 7 or better on a scale of 1 to 10. Hold on a second. I got something in my eye. I got some dust in my eye or something's bugging me. Anyway, that's what we were napping. You had to watch the live stream over again because you're late. Just got off work. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you were able to catch a little bit of it. I told everyone I'm going to stay a little bit over because I was napping that last Biface a little bit longer than I would have normally. Okay, so let's see. What else are we missing here? Else am I missing on the chat? Okay, I'm going to go to the end. Gulf Coast Napping says, I would get it anatomically thin. Yeah, you probably would. Yes, I've seen your videos. Hippie Mike says, I've got Northern Lights. Gulf Coast needs some high-grade glass butte obsidian. Yeah, that would be nice. That'd be nice to see that. I'd watch that. Yeah. Everyone say hi to Jake. Let's see. What did I miss? What is PB&J? Is that a flint type? What am I missing? Let's see. Jesse says, Ralph, how did you know I crashed for a sec? Okay, never mind. He's asking Ralph. Let's see. Okay, I think I've got caught up with the chat. Gulf Coast Napping says he has plenty to sell. Yes, he does. That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, I'm already recapped what I was doing. Gulf Coast Napping, you've only napped Georgetown one time? Only worked it once? It works like a dream. I need more? Well, you got lucky on your piece that you got. It doesn't all work like a dream. Let's see. Okay, I think I've caught up. I think I caught up with the chat. All right, I'm gonna end the live stream here in a minute. So I saw the question earlier. I've only asked 5 more times. I didn't see any questions. I looked back in the chat. Alan says, what is the weight of the solid copper billet? Oh, okay, I can do that. Let me get my scale. All right, let's see. There's my scale. All right, so this one is 1 inch by 3 inch solid copper. I'm going to weigh this. It's a regular kitchen scale. It'll be pounds and ounces. I cannot see the display readout. All right, so you can't see it either. Okay, let's see. Gotta balance this so it doesn't fly off. I can't read it. Let's see here. I believe that says 11.7 ounces. No, I cannot read that sucker. I thought this was going to be easy peasy. Stand it up, dude. Okay. 11.8 ounces. I believe that's what that is. The thing is, it's got a crack right where the decimal point is. Yeah, 11.8 ounces. The bigger one. There you go. I have a bigger one. This one is the size 1.5 inches by 2 3/4. This one is 1 pound, 9.2 ounces. Okay, 1 pound, 9.2 ounces. And this one is 11.8 ounces. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Someone said 6 ounces. What are we talking about here? Alan says, Patrick, are you getting sunburnt? Yeah, my eyeballs. My eyes are burning. I don't know if you noticed in previous live streams, my eyes are completely bloodshot by the time I'm ending the live stream. These glasses are helping a lot. All right. Golf. Jake, what are you going to set aside? I missed it. Oh, I see. He's saving it for Patrick Trousdale. I was asking Gulf Coast where I can buy a flake or two of the PB&J. Okay, now I understand what that is. And Jake says I can set a couple aside for you. Okay. The signal is jumpy. Yes, the signal is not good tonight. I've never. Gulf Coast Knapping says, I've never seen indirect percussion at that large a stage. I'm intrigued. Oh, yeah. I've used indirect percussion on large pieces. Yeah. Larger than this. And I'll use a thicker copper rod, too. I was using 3/8 diameter. I can use a 1/2 inch diameter copper rod as well for indirect percussion on bigger stuff. Alan Cole says you might as well nap for another hour, Patrick. No, I don't think so. Johnny Waring, take the shades off. No, because it bugs my eyes. I'm trying to read, right? So it makes it much easier on my eyes if I can read with the glasses on. Gulf Coast Napping says, what state is the nap in? Are you talking about the Texas nap in, or talking about the next nap in I'm going to? It'll be in Texas. I have nap in lists in my comment sections. Just go into my latest videos and then click in the comment sections of my latest videos, and some of them have the nap-in list. I haven't updated fully all of my videos with nap-in lists in all the comment sections. There's no nap-ins in Colorado. And Tomlinson. I don't know if that's a joke or not, because people usually ask, is there a nap-in in Colorado? And then before they ask, I say, there's nap-ins everywhere except Colorado. Don't ask about that, because there isn't any in Colorado. There's Gulf Coast Napping says in Alabama. If you're in Alabama, there's nap-ins near you. Yeah. There are nap-ins near you. And I think there used to be one in Alabama. There's at least 2 in Florida that you can probably make without too much of a drive. Silver River nap-in or something like that. Now, coming up, there's a bunch of them coming up in October, but I don't know about Florida. I can look into one of my videos and give you an idea of the Nappins. Hold on a second. I need to get into my keep notes. All right, I got my spare phone, but this one's not hooked up to everything. So let me look. If you're still interested, I can read off some Nappins. Oh, I know what. I got a Napomatic or Napadex. Here we go. I got a list of Nappins. It's called a Napadex. Okay, so Alabama, Moundville Nappin. That already passed. It was in February. Brown Bear Nappin, October 17th through 19th. Okay, if the dates haven't changed. Annual Brown Bear Nappin and Artifacts Show. Brown Bear LLC Canoe and Kayak Rentals. It's Huntsville, Alabama. There's the contact number 256. The Nappin Ron Sundome. October 17th through 19th, 2025. Okay. Now there's some in Florida, some in Tennessee, I think there's some in Georgia. Let's see what else here. That's just notes. Georgia has a Flint River Nappin, but that's already passed. Real Squeal. I don't know when that's going to happen. That's in Georgia. We don't have a date for that one yet. It's a Real Squeal Artifact Show and Primitive Art Show. There's contact numbers on here. Lyons, Georgia. I don't know how close you are to that. Okay. And let's see. Tennessee. There's a bunch in Tennessee. Okay, so you can send me an email at jackcrafty2@gmail.com or look in my comment sections. I usually have a Nappin list. I'll try to update all my videos, my latest videos, with a Nappin list in the comment section. It's 2 parts because it doesn't fit in one post if I want to post it on Instagram, or on Facebook. Ken says, have a great weekend, guys. All right, everyone start saying goodbye because I'm going to be signing off here in a minute. You guys are funny. Let's see. What are you talking about on the Nappins? Niblets Bluff? Yeah, you want to know about that one? Let's see. That one's Louisiana. There's one in October in Louisiana. Niblets Bluff. It's Vinton, Louisiana. Okay. People ask all the time about that one, and I think I do have the current date. Yes, I do. Okay, here we go. Niblets Bluff Nappin, Niblets Bluff Park, 3409 Niblet Bluff Road, Vinton, Louisiana, 70668. The contact number is for Tex Holloway. October 24th through 26th, 2025. All right, October 24th through 26th. You can probably get there early. Get there maybe on the 21st because there are a bunch of guys that get there early. I know from this. I know a bunch of guys that go to this Nappin and they get there early. Why you want to get there early? Well, 2 reasons. 1, because you're cool if you do. And number 2, you get to see all the cool stuff before it gets sold. All the good rocks before it sells out. What is this here? So everyone got the date? Beecher Island. I thought I already Put that on the list. Or I forget what Beecher Island is. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, the Beecher Island Battleground video. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, and I probably won't now that I'm not watching it. What about Beecher Island? Did you just want me to watch the movie, or do you want me to do a review? Because I'm not thinking I'm going to watch the whole movie. Um, let's see. Bill Taylor, I don't think most of my comments are showing up, so I'm going to check out. Better luck with my Wi-Fi next time. Alrighty, that's unfortunate. If not, I want Jack to vid that stuff for a straight hour. Let's see. Okay. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Yeah, Hippie Mike, I do see your comments. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I was having a hard time reading the scale, the readout on the scale because I don't know if you can see. I'll tell you why there's a difficulty. You see that? That's a dent in the glass. That's where I hit it with a rock. That's exactly where the decimal point is on the readout. And it bugs me when I'm trying to read it. Okay? Now, I don't know if it shows a decimal point or not. That's why it bugs me because I see a shadow sometimes. I think it's a decimal point. It may not show the decimal point. You know what I'm saying? It drives me nuts. So I have to, it's with the glasses on or not, I can't read it properly. I might end up just buying another one so I can make sure that I'm seeing it with the decimal point or not. See, because it doesn't have a decimal point after the 1, let's say. That says LB down there. So it may not show a decimal point. It may just be the ounces and then the tenth of an ounce. It's the pound, the ounce, and then the tenth of an ounce without the decimal point. But see how it interferes right there? It just bugs me. Anyway, you got to make doodle with what I got. See. Rub some DEET bug spray. Yeah, I can do that. Spray bug spray. It's like cleaning off your headlight. Yeah, I could probably do that. Okay, I can do that. Yeah. Good suggestions for trying to get that glass cleared up or that plastic. But now that I'm looking at it more, I'm thinking there's no decimal point. I thought I could swear it had a decimal point in the readout. Oh, and it's got a film over it. It's not a dent in the glass, it's a coating. I just scraped that off. So it's a coating on top of whatever that is. I just made it worse, probably. It's extremely flexible too. Can't see. It's not a hard glass or not a hard plastic. Anyway, I make doodle with what I got. Keep it going, keep it going. If you have questions, I can keep it going. Yeah, pull the plastic off. I'll do that when I'm not on camera because I'll end up scratching whatever's on there if I do it in a hurry. Hippie Mike says, well, I'll be here with herb and rum. Yeah, it's a Friday night. Clear fingernail polish, maybe. Let's see. Hippie Mike is telling you about a. No, I don't think that's a Knapping in Colorado. Hippie Mike was telling me about a movie called Beecher Island. It's a massacre of Native Americans, I believe. Okay, I'm going to sign off here, guys. It's good to see everybody. Good night. Yep, good night, everybody. I'm going to sign off here in a second. This was a good live stream. I enjoyed it quite a bit. All right. Yep. Later. See you later. Yep. All right. We'll see you next time. The next live stream, let's see, it's Friday, will be Monday. Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time during the auction. Yep. And before then, I'll be making videos. Usually Saturday and Sunday are my video days. Regular videos. Okay? All right. Good night, everybody. It's good to see you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.